So what we want to talk about is professional skepticism. See, the main thing to a CPA that many, I think, misunderstand is that professional skepticism is like our armor. And if you really understand what professional skepticism means to the CPA, then you're going to understand what their armor is made of. And until you understand that, until you get through the CPA's armor, you're not going to really deal with the person behind it. Does that make sense? So if we go back to the times, where the knights wear the medal, right? Well, it didn't matter what the personality was of each one of those warriors. It didn't matter if this person was aggressive or young or old or passive. This person was analytical. None of that mattered because they all were wearing that same metal suit. So if somebody's trying to figure out how to tango with those that are knights, right, back in the day, once they knew what that suit was made of, that type of metal and how thick it was and where was it covering and not covering and how did it open, right? All of the things that would go into that. Then you would say that if there is an army that is all wearing the same metal suit, well, once you discovered what one of those knights was wearing, then you would know what all of those knights are wearing, right? So when you discover that and you can work through that for the success of your relationship with a CPA, once you're through that, then you're dealing with somebody that's quote unquote analytical or maybe passive or maybe really gun shy about what it is that you're trying to talk to them about, or they're suspicious in other things. My point is, if you can crack the CPA code, if you can get through the armor with just one CPA, right? You can get through that armor, you can crack that CPA code with all CPAs. And once you get through that, that also means, though, that you built trust. So in my book, I lay down for you why professional skepticism is so important to us, but I'll just tell it to you in two ways. One, it's part of the AICPA Code of Professional Conduct. See, we don't have a choice. The second is that every CPA went through one type of degree, accounting. They went through one type of exam, the CPA exam. They have a uniform code, they being me. So all of them are wearing that same suit of armor as CPAs. And we all approach it the same way, which is this. It's a way to protect the profession, but more importantly, protect the client. See, professional skepticism is this: I don't trust you. And it's not because I don't trust you, it's just that I'm trained that I need to be alert, I need to question, I need to be sure before I can trust you. So it's not that I'll forever not trust you, but initially I have got to ensure that I trust you. So if you will work in a way to become trustworthy to the CPA in a manner that they receive well, or they understand, or speaks their language, so to speak, then you will be successful with CPA after CPA after CPA after CPA. And you probably think, well, it's easy to build trust. Well, in my book, I talk about what are the things we first value in building trust. What is it that's consistent with the CPA code when you're learning how to do business with a CPA? So I've got this laid out step by step. It's a playbook on how to build a relationship. But let me just leave you with this. It's not something that happens in one transaction. It's not something that happens just, in a month's time. It's something that takes time. Just like you building trust with anybody in your life, it takes time and it takes consistency. So when you're approaching the CPA and you already know that due to their training, due to professional skepticism, they're not ready to trust you right off the bat, well, gives you an advantage. But here it is in true closing, is when you're talking to a CPA, here's what you want to do first and foremost, and it's part of building trust, is you want to show that CPA how what you're doing for them is going to save them time. That is probably the most valuable thing to me. I would dare say to most CPAs, especially in the tax world. There's not any more time, right? So precious time. Show them how you can save them time. But then secondly, what they want to know is, how are you going to help their client? And for me, what made a huge impact was three things. One was the cost, quite frankly. The cost to my client was very effective and efficient when compared to what they were getting. The second was security. The level of security is huge in the industry right now for CPAs. And with what you all provide, huge, huge benefit related to security. And the third thing in terms of helping my client is the platform that you have, that I get to see exactly what they see. And we can work on these things together. I know that it's not necessarily at the same time, but my point is, I see what they see. And what does that also do? Saves me time. What security do? Saves me time. What about the cost? Well, that's going to be probably that first hurdle. So show how you save me time. You're building trust. Show how you're helping the client. And then don't forget that even though a CPA has a business client, the one thing that we are also always thinking about, because a key word in our title is the P for public, we also are thinking about the employees of our small business. And for most, those employees are not clients of mine. Those employees are not clients, but they work for my client. So when you're now approaching, if you also talk about the benefits to their small business clients' employees, which is the platform and the ease and the security, you're now laying a foundation of speaking their language and basically now getting through that armor, getting through the professional skepticism, and building trust. So what I'd like to do is we'll take some Q&A, walk through some things. I'll sign some books when we're done, get to know each other. But for that, thank you for being here, and I appreciate the support. And who's got any questions?